Fuck. GG.
Wait a minute. Comics?
Hold
Comics?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here.
How's it going, dude?
Are you?
It's been a while since we talked, you know?
Are you Poison Boy, or are you...
Yeah, it's me.
Turtle, or...
It's Poison Boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good to see you
Poison
again, man.
Boy.
Yeah, you still play Dark Souls?
Yeah, dude, how's it been? How you been doing? Yeah, oh, dude, I fucking love Dark Souls, man.
Yeah.
Fucking playing the shit out of that game. My favorite game series of all time. You know, it's probably honestly the best game series of all time.
Hey, Poison Boy, you still out there?
Yeah.
Yeah? I'll tell you what,
yeah, I am.
Do you have a base down anywhere?
No, not at the moment.
Yeah, I'll give you a bag. I'll give you a bag. That way people, you know, don't come and shoot you.
Oh, honey, I'm home.
Oh, hey there, little cummy. Hey, we're getting a roommate. I hope you don't mind. He'll be very out of the way.
Does he love Dark Souls as much as I do?
Oh, he adores Dark Souls.
I love Dark Souls.
Yeah, why don't you guys start talking?
Bruh.
Which one's your favorite? Mine's Dark Souls 2.
Oh, man, fuck you. Dark Souls 2 is ass. Dark Souls 3 is objectively better. All the bosses are jokes, and the enemies are jokes.
Yeah.
So you complain about the hitboxes, but then, like, say it's easier.
Yes, it is very easy, because they also move slow as shit. But they also, you know, have shitty attacks, as the fucking developers who are programming Dark Souls 2 fucking live in a mentally ill institute. I don't know.
That's a good
like, what in Dark Souls 2 did they actually keep? What in Dark Souls 2 did they actually keep in Elden Ring?
Well, there are items you can craft that heal you, but, you know, it might be a skill issue on your end for not finding them.
No one uses crafting in Elden Ring, dude. No one I know has ever crafted in Elden Ring. I make arrows!
Hey, hey. Hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey.
Did you spawn in the honeycomb?
Yeah, I did. He's also kind of poetic in a way. He was there at the beginning of the series. He was a slave knight. He fought for Gale against the dragons. And through all these ages of men, dragons, demons, so that she may paint a better world than the world of Dark Souls that they had all lived in. And the only way that he could obtain it all...
What if we do some SpongeBob roleplay? I can be SpongeBob SquarePants. You little cummy, you could be Squidward Tentacles.
Do I have to? I have to.
Lo siento will soon can be Plankton. We shall commence the role-playing scenario now. Welcome to the Krusty Krab. May I take your order, please?
Can I have,
Take your time. Lo siento, you are
holy
Plankton.
fuck.
Plankton, you know?
Plankton, what are you doing here?
This is too fucking... I can't do this. I can't fucking do this. just forget that ever happened.
Like, they just want to keep making sequels for the same game, ruining what made it special in the first place. Like, Assassin's Creed 1, you know, was a great game. But, like, now up to Mirage, and, like, that game is ass. Like, everything about, like, the new Assassin's Creed is ass. It borrows from, like, old school mythological motifs, you know, the gods, you know.
Hello? Okay, let me explain.
What happened?
Okay, so my friend, he somehow tracked me down to this server, and I thought it'd be funny if I put him in a bag in our honeycomb. But my friend, how should I put it? He really likes Dark Souls. I like Dark Souls as much as the next guy, but this guy's been talking about Dark Souls for the past like hour and a half. I don't know any polite way to tell him that we want him to stop talking about Dark Souls. So I figured the best way to get him to stop is if we just raid the base like, you'll know exactly which honeycomb he's in. Like, I guarantee you, if you fly by our base right now, he's still fucking talking about Dark Souls. It has been non-stop.
Dark Souls 1 is,
Not the
let's talk about the story of Dark Souls 1.
Yeah,
Dark Souls 3 is really great.
Yeah, I love Dark Souls.
But Dark Souls 3 is supposed to be had his next fight them. Didn't really work out well for them, but you know, they eventually kind of settled differences. Nito was just kind of chilling the whole time. Gwyn eventually this, you know, that humans will go to extreme.
Shut the fuck up! You do this every fucking day! Continue to sit in your fucking chair, scratching your goddamn chin, waxing philosophy over a fucking video game! No, stop it! I'm gonna unplug the goddamn router!
You better fucking not, dude. I'm trying.
Unplug that motherfucking
No, fuck you, bro. What the fuck? Yo, what the hell? What
Holy shit, he actually went offline.
really confused by this whole situation.
Oh man, fuck you. Dark Souls 2 is ass. Dark Souls 3 is objectively better.
Dark Souls 2 is fucking amazing, dumbass.
No, it's not. The level design is shit. The fucking rolling is shit. The fucking attacks are slow as hell. You know, the fact that you have to level to roll is fucking atrocious. You know, the fucking it has has snap point movement.
Skill
has
issue.
snap point movement. It makes the game ass. Fuck you.
Skill issue.
The bosses are all dudes in armor and they're all boring as shit. They're easy as hell too.
Yeah, that's every Souls game ever. The fuck are you talking about?
Nah, Dark Souls 3 is better. Dark Souls 3 has way better bosses than Dark Souls 2.
Oh, Slave Knight Gale. Oh.
Oh, what do you got? I got Sir Alon with the shittiest hitboxes in the entire fucking galaxy. I got the fucking Covetous Demon. That's a great one. You know, the big fucking fat ass just rolls around. That's a really fun boss fight. What else? How about the 40 dudes in armor who just do swipe attacks all the time? I'm talking about Dark Souls 3. I'm not talking about Dark Souls 1. Any of the Dark Souls 3 bosses can fucking solo fucking Dark Souls 2. Also, Dark Souls 2 is just fucking copy and pasted bosses, alright? They take the bosses and just make them copy and pasted enemies. No skill no fun, just boring. No skill issue, just bad.
Dark Souls 2.
I've beaten it like 3 times, dude. It's fucking easy as shit. It's the easiest game I've ever played because the bosses are easy as shit, and the enemies are easy as shit, and the weapons are fucking. You can just upgrade a fucking weapon to +10 in like 2 minutes. All right, it's fucking easy as shit. It's the easy as shit game. That requires like no skill to play. All right, it's easier than Dark Souls 1, that's for certain. All the bosses are jokes, and the enemies are jokes.
Yeah.
So you complain about the hitboxes, but then like say it's easier.
Yes, it is very easy because they also move slow as shit. But they also, you know, have shitty attacks as the fucking developers who are programming Dark Souls 2 fucking live in a mentally ill institute. I don't know.
You mean in an asylum?
They live in a school for they live in a school for mentally ill children.
You have a lot of
Dark Souls 2 is bad because our Lord and Savior Hidetaka Miyazaki did not make the game. It's for that reason only that Dark Souls 2 is a terrible game. The levels make no sense. There's a fucking level that you go up an elevator and you go into a fucking lava place. Or what sense does that make? How the fuck does it make any sense? How levels? No, it's not. Fucking the game is convoluted. Is that fancy word talk for retarded? Yeah, that's convoluted means retarded in the sense of Dark Souls 2.
Nah, time's just convoluted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you want to talk about bosses? How about the best boss in the game? The fucking rat with the mohawk. You gotta fight all the 300 rats and one with the mohawk, like the Banjo-Kazooie game. Best bosses I've ever seen.
Yo, Vanguard goated.
No, it's not. It's just a guy with. It's a rat with a mohawk. It's a Banjo-Kazooie boss.
He goated though.
And he's good.
It's just a boss. It's a fucking rat boss fight.
Bro couldn't fight the option.
It's easy as shit. The bosses are easy as shit. The best boss is the Fume Knight, but he also has shitty hitboxes. Because the developers don't know how to fucking code their game.
Rat God goated though.
No, I don't. I love it.
Are you playing Rust?
I love Dark Souls. All right, I love Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 is objectively better. Sorry.
Okay, can we at least agree that Elden Ring is fucking great?
Yeah, of course, because it's not Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Rust hard now? What the fuck?
I mean, yeah, I put Dark Souls 3, then 1, and then 2, and then Elden Ring. That's my tier list.
Like from top to bottom or bottom to top? What the fuck is that tier list?
So Dark Souls 3 is at the bottom, and Elden Ring's up at the top. You know.
Hey, Poison Boy,
How?
you should be able
Elden
to
Ring is
spawn
literally the
this
same as
bag
Dark
out
Souls
here
3.
Nah.
I think out of all the hey, I was just about to talk about my favorite boss in all the Souls games, and that has to be Slave Knight Gale. You know what I like about Slave Knight Gale comics?
What?
He's a very, very tragic character. And he's also kind of poetic in a way. He was there at the beginning of the series. He was a slave knight. He fought for Gale against the dragons. And through all these ages of men, dragons, demons, gods, whatever the fuck, he is the only thing that remains, a human. At the end of time, at the start of time, he was a human. At the end of time, he was a human. And not only that, he was the strongest thing to ever exist in the Dark Souls universe. Because his story is very tragic in the sense that he lived for such a long fucking time because he had one purpose. And that purpose was to find the blood of the Dark Soul for a little girl's painting, so that she may paint a better world than the world of Dark Souls that they had all lived in. And the only way that he could obtain the Dark Soul, it's not really a soul of the first flame either. It's more like its shadow. It's like its counterpart. It's like how the first flame is supposed to be like reality itself, and the Dark Soul is supposed to be like its undoing, the crack in that fire that's going to bring it down eventually.
Yeah.
And so he was tasked with something that most people probably would never have, undertaken. And that was reconstituting the Dark Soul. It's just going to take him an extremely long length of time. So he makes a plan that you, the Ashen One, who is linked to the bonfires, and bonfires can transcend time. All right, they're unique in that sense. So the plan was to have you travel to the Ring City, disturb the Egg of Filianor, and then travel to the end of time. And while you just traveled to the end of time, like time travel pretty much, he lived the billions and billions and billions of years that it probably took to get there. Because when you get there, it's like there's no like great castles and civilizations. There's just ash. It's just a plain of ash as far as the eye can see. And when you get there, you see Gale, but he doesn't see you. You see him as a big monster, fucking completely like out of his mind, just an animal pretty much, eating anything that moves, trying to get their piece of the Dark Soul to try and fill it within his blood and make it a lot more pungent than it once was. And so when he sees you, he doesn't really see you.
Hey, Kami, yeah, watch out. That guy has been camping our base is, like, right over there.
Honestly, I feel like the boss fight is probably the most interesting in the series for the simple fact that, like, the storytelling that's done in the fight, not only is it a really fun fight, because the first phase, he's fighting like an animal, He's fighting like a beast trying to live. He's not fighting like, like a regular, like, boss, like, who's smart and shit. He's swinging the sword, he's jumping around, he's trying to, he's trying to kill you. But when you get him down to the second phase, he stumbles. You make him bleed. Probably for the first time in billions of years, you've made him bleed. And when you make him bleed, he sees that the blood that is pooled up in his hands, the blood, his blood was able to rehydrate the Dark Soul inside of him. And he sees for the first time the Dark Soul. In billions and billions and billions of years, he is the first person to ever see the Dark Soul fully conformed. Probably not all of it. Like, I probably doubt he was able to get every single piece of the Dark Soul. but he got pretty much enough to make it the Dark Soul, to pretty much reconstitute it in a way that like makes it what it once was. And when he sees that he finally completed his mission. He finally completed the task that his mistress sent him out to do. He goes hollow. For the first time in billions of years, he completed his mission, and he goes hollow. And when he fights you in the second phase, he doesn't fight like a beast running around.
What's going on over here? Hey guys, can you do me a favor? Like a massive favor. There's gonna be a lot in for it. Can you guys come raid this base for me, please? It's my base. Please. Please come help me. I'll take you to it. I just need you to come raid this base. It's my base. I need you to raid my base. Bottom right corner of, I believe, C1. Yeah, C1. It's just like a little 2x1. I put my friend in a honeycomb. I thought it'd be funny, and he has not been able to shut the fuck up about Dark Souls. Like, for the past 10, like for the past hour and a half, this guy's just been non-stop talking about Dark Souls. I need you to please help me out here. Fuck.
I say that one is probably the best there is. I have my own opinion on the endings of Dark Souls 3. Personally, I think the one where you give the Firekeeper the flame is probably the best ending, because like the other endings are they don't really matter. I think like the Lord of Hollows is kind of like, oh, I'm gonna be a king now. Look at me. Whereas like the one where you give the flame, chaotic beings. They're not really like that. They're more like, they're kind of like their own, while they're not really life the sense we know, they're still life. It's still fundamentally a life that's, they have their own customs, they have their own traditions, they have everything, that a civilization has. They just look weird. And Gwyn was terrified and had his knights fight them. Didn't really work out well for them, but, they eventually kind of settled differences. Nito was just kind of chilling the whole time. Gwyn eventually realized that, so I really can't afford to have the first flame die out, let darkness take the land. So I'm just going to burn my own soul into the first flame, and hopefully that will stall a little bit longer. And he set things up in a way that humans will want to do the same. He basically made this whole prophecy, the Chosen Undead prophecy, where humans would, as a sign of from the gods, to travel to, to this land of Lordran, and go on a quest to absorb the souls of the different lords, to reignite the flame to keep it going for cycles. That's pretty much the plot of the first game. The first game is a very simple game. There's different elements about it. There's a lot of stuff I really like about that game. It's things about Dark Souls 1, the combat. It's a very janky game. It's a very aged game. I still like it. I still like it a lot. Yeah, but there's a lot of times where it's just like really annoying to play it. But that's just how it is. It's a remnant of its time. It's a remnant of its time. Obviously, I would love if they fucking remake that game. Honestly.
Well, have you played Demon Souls?
But Dark Souls. Oh, I played the remake on my PlayStation 5. It's great. Remake was fun. I loved it. It's really interesting. Yeah, I loved it. Like, I've seen people like talk, oh, well, the soundtrack isn't as good, and oh, some of the design elements aren't nearly as good. But it's like, I don't really care. Like, what are you talking about? It looks great. The game looks great. The music's great. The bosses, like, they got rid of a lot of the jankiness of the first game. Like, I could never go back and play the original Demon Souls. The original Demon Souls, I've seen people play it. It's pretty much unplayable. Like, you think Dark Souls 1 is janky? Oh boy! Wait until you play Dark Souls to play Demon Souls.
I mean, Demon Souls, the remake was based off of pretty much the same like source of the original, wasn't it? Like for the original Demon Souls.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like, it's pretty much the same game, just with a massive like visual overhaul. And I mean that like mechanically and everything. Like, it's using the same code.
Actually, I've been playing. I played it a little bit ago, and oh my god, I love face builds in that game because in the remake, so in the original game there was a face build called a anti-magic field. But like in the original game, it was completely unusable because every time you had cast it, it would fuck up your game. It lag the shit out of it. You couldn't play with it. But in the remake, you can use it just fine. In fact, it's really funny to use. I have clips of myself like invading people, casting that spell, and if they're a magic build, it is so funny to watch them like shit themselves when they realize they can't cast spells anymore. It's really funny.